Hey everyone, sorry, this is like the third, no, I'm not joking. This is the third time I've tried to do this live, hence why it's 3 o'clock, not 1 o'clock, because I realized that I didn't have public on, I just had private on. So that's a time I couldn't see anybody in the chat. Like nobody was joining the chat. Like it was so weird. And I was like, wait a second, like I announced this so long ago and I just could not figure out what was going on. And I think it's because I didn't have it on public, you guys. I literally wasted like an hour and a half doing this because I didn't understand what was going on. So please bear with me. This is why this is late, because I'm in the chat. Let me know what planner you guys are using for 2021, where you are watching from. I am super excited to be here with you guys. So leave that in the chat. And if you are watching the replay, please leave that in the comments below, because I'm always super curious to know what people are using for their planner system. So if you can hear me, if you can see me, give this video a thumbs up. So please, 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 just so I know that everything is working. All right, thumbs up from one person. Great. You guys can hear me. You guys can see me. I don't see names in the chats. I want to see names. You guys, I'm so excited to see you guys here, because I'm not kidding. I spent 2 hours thinking that nobody was in my live streams because I didn't have public set on. Like oh my God, that is just crazy to me. All right, so I'm going to wait like 2 minutes to see if some more people are coming on, just so when they jump on the live stream, they're not totally lost. So, all right, all good to go here. Hope Weber from Southern Illinois, PS and EC, PS, EC Vertical, Aaron Condren, PS. I'm not sure what PS is. I feel like I should know that. PS and EC Vertical. I'm not sure what that is. No, not plum paper. Huh. All right, Hope, thank you so much for being here. Anybody? Southern Illinois. Obviously Powersheets. That is what we're talking about in this live today, so I should have known. Hope, have you done the prep work yet on your Powersheets, or did you do Cultivate Your Year live? Have you done Goal School yet? Sorry, if I'm looking down, it's because I'm looking at the comments on my computer right here. All righty. So as people trickle in, I'm just going to start talking, and maybe you guys can fill people in the chat, just so I don't lose everybody. Okay. So, Cultivate Your Year live. How was it? Was it worth it? Etc., etc., etc. So if you guys are new to Powersheets, which this is the first Powersheets that I've bought, you guys. So I was absolutely new to this bandwagon. I didn't know anything that was going on, and I just like went all in. I bought the planner and I bought the ticket for Cultivate Your Year live. Now the ticket is $100 full price. I bought it on sale on launch day. It was $50. So all in, it was $165 for the planner. Well, if it's full price for the ticket, it's $100 for the ticket, $65 for the planner. So $165. For me, it was about like $100 something. That is not a little bit of change, considering that this is a additional planner for me. This is not my main planning system. If you haven't seen my main planning system, I already put a video up on my 2021 setup. I will put that in the description box below. Hope says, prep work is all done. And yes, I was at Cultivate Your Year live. Okay, so Hope is going to be able to fill anybody in on things if people catch what I'm saying afterwards. So I think Hope is going to agree with me on some things that went down at CYYL. So the event is usually not virtual. It's a big conference that they do in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. This year, obviously, because we are in the middle of a global pandemic, they had to do it virtually. The upside, 2,000 women were able to attend, so it was a ton of fun. But the downside was it wasn't the event that they're usually able to do. I have nothing to compare it to. I have never been to the in-person event. So I'm just going to go over a rundown of what we did and what the point of the event was. So the reason I spent money on the ticket was because I really wanted to get through my Powersheets in one day. So that was the whole gig about CYYL, that you were going to be able to spend from 9 to 3 completely immersed in like a goal setting experience, and that you will be able to finish your goal setting process for 2021. And I was like, sold, because I never take time out for myself to do anything like that. And if you have young kids at home or you're a stay-at-home mom like I am, you know, it is so difficult to find time to just orient yourself and realize what's going on. So I was like, great, like I don't want to buy this planner and then have it sit on my desk for 8 months unused, because you have to be honest with yourself. Like that's what would have happened. That's exactly why I didn't buy it 2 years ago. I knew it wasn't going to go very far for me. So I was like, great, like I will attend. And I think that the team did a fantastic job. It was a lot of fun. Um, they did a great job. They had guest speakers. They really rallied people up. Like it was an experience. However, with 2,000 people, you couldn't see anybody else. So it wasn't like a Zoom call. It was just Laura and the Cultivate What Matters team, but it was mostly her speaking and taking you through page by page of the sheets. And they did a fantastic job. But the downside is that the chat for the 2,000 people who were like chatting and keeping up with what was going on was moving so quickly. But honestly, that was to be expected. I just, after like 20 minutes, focused on what the Cultivate What Matters team was saying, and just kind of went rolling with that. But for some people, I know they wanted that experience of being able to interact with other attendees. That would have been awesome. I know people had breakout Zoom groups and Facebook groups and Facebook chats. You guys, like I was laser focused. Like I really wanted to get this done. So I did not do any of the breakout groups. Maybe I should have, but like I didn't. So if you haven't seen the Cultivate What Matters page by page, I did an entire review going literally page by page. Sorry, this is upside down. Page by page of this planner. So the conference was supposed to, Hope saying it was insane. Yeah, the chat was literally like crazy. So that brings me to the replay. So Cultivate Your Year Live, if you already bought the ticket, but you didn't have time to do it live, you can look at the replay right now in the Goal School website, like your login. If you did not already buy a ticket because it was sold out, then you will be able to purchase the replay for $100. So I thought it was interesting that they kept that at $100, even though it wasn't live. However, I think you won't see a difference. That's why I was waiting to do this video to see like how I felt about the event, because it was so crazy, the chat, that honestly, like the replay isn't, you're going to still feel like you were live, because it was impossible to participate in the chat anyway. So interesting that they kept it full price, even though it wasn't live. But to be honest, I still think you're going to get the same experience, because you're not really going to be able to chat with people live anyway. So that brings me to, what did we get done at Cultivate Your Year Live, and was it worth the money? So they said that they would take you from pages 1 to 31. And if you're not familiar with the Powersheets, let me flip to page 31. That is before your action goals. So your action plans, where you break down all your goals and your mini goals for the year. I understand that they couldn't do that, because once you get to breaking down your mini goals, that's going to take a little bit more time, maybe more research. Maybe you have to check your budget, check what you have going on for the year, and they weren't going to like wait around for everyone to do that. However, I do wish that they would have maybe given you like 30 minutes to get all of that done, like a rough draft to get you going. I did finish my action plans for January through March, because after 3 o'clock, I was already so in the zone that I just gave myself that extra hour to just get it done, because who's like me, like who knew it wasn't going to happen if you didn't do it right then? So I just bulldozed through it. Like I even took like a short lunch to like get ahead on some things. I know some people said that the pacing of the event was fast. Maybe I'm a New Yorker. I kind of disagree. I think it was paced fine. We had, I think, a couple breaks. We had a big lunch break, and then they did give you breaks in between, but I think I was just like flying through some things, trying to get it done. And that's another reason why I bought this planner. Why I bought the ticket to CYYL. I suffer from perfectionism. So like this video, or let me know in the chat if you do too. I suffer from bone crippling perfectionism. So I knew if I had bought this and had been left to my own devices, like I would have spent hours trying to like get it right and see if like it would have just been insane. And I don't have that type of time, as I was saying earlier. So that was one thing that I really appreciated about the event. You wanted to keep up with everybody. You wanted to keep up with the event. So they were like, okay, you have 10 minutes to do this, 15 minutes to do this. It kind of felt like a fun version of the SATs, and no right answers. So that's why I really enjoyed it. And then it was like, okay, like time's up. So some sections I was able to do more quickly, and other sections I finished like right on time. So I needed that boost to ditch perfectionism. That's like one thing I'm working on this year, like trying to be like less about that. So that was really, really helpful for me. So that kind of sums up Cultivate Your Year Live. I'm going to go into what we accomplished and my goal setting process after I talk about Goal School, because it's going to make a lot more sense to go into that process. And I'm going to leave some time for questions about Cultivate Your Year Live and Goal School. And then we'll get into my goals for next year and the goal planning process, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So Goal School is the free coaching system that comes with when you buy the goal planner. So that is a 5-part video series. It has about roughly 40 minutes of content, I would say. And that takes you from pages 1 through 50. So that includes your action pages in your goal setting. So your mini action pages, et cetera, et cetera. Hope says you didn't have time to second guess your first thought. Exactly. You did not have time to second guess your first thought. So another reason why thumbs up for Goal School. Sorry, for CYYL. Goal School, on the other hand, also hosted by Laura Casey. So it's not like you don't get to see her walk you through Goal School. I think Goal School was the addition that I think would have pushed me over the edge to buy this planner in the past. I think the guidance of how you do goals in this planner is different. Like SMART goals is not how you do goal planning in this planner. So it's a lot kind of more woo-woo, like more personal introspection. And I think it did need that like level of education and walking you through it if you have never done it this way before. Because I'm not new to, planning and achieving goals, but doing it this way and with her system was different, especially because, to be 100% honest, I haven't read her book. Now I want to, but I hadn't before. So, do you need to buy Cultivate Your Year Live, the ticket, if you go through Goal School? The biggest thing I'll say is the timing is different. So I went through Goal School to compare the two, just to give you guys like my most accurate thoughts on like this free versus paid version of getting through it. Goal School was rolled out over 5 days. So now you can see the whole thing in one setting. Before, they would just put it out. I think each video was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That would have driven me insane. Like I would have loved to just sit down and just do it. So if you do buy this planner or you go back to Goal School, I highly recommend it because you can just get it done in one sitting. Now, does that mean that you need to get a ticket for Cultivate Your Year Live? Like I mentioned, the timing is different. So there's less pressure on, just getting the sections done. So she explains things in a very similar way. It's a much more condensed version. You get the gist of it. For some people, I think Goal School really might be enough. I think maybe 2 years ago, maybe it would have been enough for me. I had like limitless time back then. But maybe not now for me personally. But for you, you may be in a completely different season in your life, and you may have an entire weekend to just go through your prep work. I think someone said it took them like 20 hours to get through it. So if you have those 20 hours and you're someone who can just sit down and get that done, and you kind of have your own schedule where you can get those things done, then by all means, you don't have to buy Cultivate Your Year Live. If you're looking for motivation, more of an experience, you want an excuse to clear your schedule for an entire day, sit down and do it, you just need that boost, I would highly recommend buying a ticket to Cultivate Your Year Live. If you're not sure and you're still on the fence, my suggestion would be buy the planner, look at Goal School because it's free with your purchase, and then see if you need a little bit extra of a boost. Like if you see the first 5 minutes and you're like, no, this isn't for me, then buy the replay, if that makes sense. Because I do recommend it. I do think they did a really good job. But again, I was the perfect target for that because I really needed it and done. Because like I mentioned, I just really wanted to get it out of the way. And like Hope said, you weren't able to second guess your thoughts. So that was really a motivating factor for me. Now, if nobody has any questions right now, and if you do have questions and you're watching the replay, don't worry, put them in the comments. I will try my best to answer them about Goal School. Oh, my other thing about Cultivate Your Year Live. Would I go next year? This is like a huge question. I have no idea. I think if they did the virtual version, I would 100% do it. I think it was a huge success. Would I go in person? A, I don't know if we're going to be able to do in-person conferences next year. But B, I really don't know. And I think it's because if I had to take a weekend, I don't live near Chapel Hill, North Carolina. I'd have to take a flight. I'd have to take a weekend, hotel, et cetera, et cetera. Like, would I do that? I don't know. I would have loved to have met a lot of the women who were at Cultivate Your Year Live. But again, one of the reasons I have yet to go to Planners Gone Wild or Go Wild is because every year it's a weekend I can't make it. I'm not joking, guys. Every year in May, it's a weekend that I can't go. Like, I cannot be the only one. Every year it's something. Last year it was the pandemic. The year before that I was pregnant. The year before that I had like this huge thing at work. Like every year it's something. So I don't want to like put all my eggs in that basket. It would be awesome in theory, but if they did virtually, I would be there 100%. I think I have an inkling that they are toying around with this because they did announce at the end of the replay that they are doing a paid coaching membership program. There will be more details on that later. I don't have any, but they're going to release those later at some point. So I am very curious to know what that looks like. And I think that they might do something like this in the future. So I hope they do because I will be there. But in person, we shall see, because I definitely would want to go wild first, if that makes sense. All right. So let's go into my goals for this year and my goal setting process, because hopefully this helps some of you, because I know that there was a lot of questions on the chat of mini goals versus your big goals and how to split them up and how did you rate yourself and all this stuff. So I'm going to delve into my ratings of my life. So this little sheet here basically makes you rate all of the areas of your life and how you're doing. So I feel like a school teacher. So we have health, friends, finances, spiritual and personal growth, spouse or focal relationship, family, work, and fun, for a better sense of the word. So health, I rated myself a 3 because I feel like crap on a daily basis. I feel really, really tired all the time. I'm not joking. I feel very low on energy. I feel really tired. I can't tell if half of that was postpartum. The other half is what's going on in the world right now. But very low energy in a way that I haven't felt like this in a really long time, probably since when I was pregnant and debilitatingly ill. And probably because I'm still hanging on to like the last 6-7 pounds of pregnancy, which for a lot of people is not a big deal. For me personally, I'm not even 5'3". It does feel like a lot on me, considering that I only gained 20 something pounds in my pregnancy. So some people can lose like 70 pounds. I obviously am not one of those people because like I can hardly lose 6 pounds. So I rated myself a 3, and I'm also getting really caffeine dependent. So that's not doing great. Friends, I rated a 1. And that's because I haven't seen my friends in a year, you guys. I'm not joking. Excuse me. Some of my friends are abroad. I haven't seen friends because we moved out of state. We left New York and then we didn't come back. And then we moved permanently. So I haven't seen friends. And that makes me sad. I haven't seen a lot of people that we're really close to. And, that's just sad. And we've moved to a new neighborhood. And so it's also been hard to meet new people because of everything that's going on now that it's getting colder outside. We have met some of our neighbors. They're super friendly, super sweet, but obviously all of the normal activities that would be going on are shut down. So finances, I rated myself an 8. Yeah, because like everything's going well there. Spiritual and personal growth, I rated myself a 2. But that's not because of my personal growth. I think I have made a lot of personal strides over the past 18 months. It's more that my faith has been shaken. I've kind of let it go to the wayside a little bit. Just because I kept saying I don't have time, but really what that means is that it wasn't a priority, which is really sad. Again, because I've been really tired. I've just been trying to fit a lot in the day. And for some reason, like my time in the Word has always been the thing that gets dropped. And I don't know why, because I feel centered. It makes me feel better about my day moving forward. I have a toddler now. I like need that level of patience to do with my day. And I've been dropping the ball on that, just quite frankly. So I was surprised how I rated some of those things. My spouse and focal relationship, or just my spouse, I rated a 7. Again, I think we've made amazing strides this year, especially over the past 18 months. If you see if you have seen my full review on this planner, you would know that we've had a very jam-packed 18 months. Just to summarize it for you guys, we got engaged, we got married, and then we got pregnant the day we came back from our honeymoon. We had like a 3-month engagement, and then we moved, and then we moved again, and then the pandemic hit, and then we moved again. Like it's just been a crazy year and a half. And so obviously with such radical life changes in such a short amount of time, that's going to put stress on any two people, especially with the stress of like, again, everything going on in the world and like having a baby at the same time. So I think considering all of that, I rated us like a good solid 7. Then family, I put us at an 8. My husband's working from home, and he has been working from home since March, which it's been a journey. I had never, ever expected in my whole life. He works in an industry where like people don't work from home like that. And he's been at home for what will be a year, and he will be working from home until at least next summer. So that has been a huge adjustment in our family dynamics. Again, because I'm a stay-at-home mom, like my responsibilities on a day-to-day basis, but it has been a blessing because he's able to spend more time with our daughter, and I'm able to see him more. He doesn't have to commute. So it's been an adjustment, but I rated us an 8 because the blessing of us being able to spend more time together as a family and him being able to spend more time with our daughter. Work, I am considering like content creation and doing all of this stuff as work. I rated that a 6. I'm really, really proud of myself that I relaunched my YouTube channel this year. I really, really missed it. And so I'm really proud of myself that through everything, I was able to cut through the noise and get into creating some content that I'm really proud of and that I really want to share with the world. So that was what I rated myself as. And fun, I rated myself a 1. Not because I don't think I'm fun, but like fun as a family, I rated as a 1 because, I think the boredom has just set in with everything going on, and I'm not a winter person. And so with this setting in this year, I know I'm going to have to make like a huge effort to have fun because like we can't go anywhere. So I rated myself a 1. So doing this page, when you do it, this was the main page for me that like really solidified what my goals were going to be, because I came into this thinking my goals were going to be one thing. And then once I started to have to rate myself, I realized, like I need to move some of these to the beginning of the priority list. So let me know if any of you guys who have done prep work felt that way, but goals that I thought I wasn't going to have were now goals, and goals that I just wasn't expecting it to go down the way it went down. So that was surprising. So let's go to the yes, no list. So I really believe in lists like these. I really believe in lists like these. So this is saying what I'm saying yes to and what you're saying no to, because one of the fundamental tenets of productivity is that you have to say no to something to say yes to something else, or vice versa. So I am saying yes to creativity this year, and I am saying no to perfectionism. As I've said before, I am a super perfectionist. And if it's not the way I want it, I won't do it. I won't put it out there. And it can just inhibit me from doing things that I really want to do if I don't think it's going to be the best or I don't think it's going to be perfect. And that's a problem, especially if you're in a creative space, because 95% of the things you're going to do aren't going to be your best and they're not going to be perfect. Let's be honest. So I need to get better at ditching those notions and being that hard on myself. I am saying yes to my purpose and I am saying no to doubt. I'm also saying yes to community and no to isolation. So, no, that does not mean I'm going to be like flagrantly disregarding public health rules. It just means I'm going to be finding more creative ways to be in community, this live being one of them. So, I am saying yes to health and I'm saying no to mean thoughts about myself. You guys, I'm really mean to myself, like really, really mean. I'm not kidding. Like the things that I say to myself, like I would never say to someone else. I would never even think that to someone else. Actually, when we were in the chat at Cultivate Your Year Live, I was saying supportive things. And at one point, Laura was like, what really scares you? We were on a page about, fear of success, like what scares you. And I literally, it flew out of my mouth that I said, I fear that if I don't lose 5 pounds, like I'm not going to feel beautiful anymore. Which, if you say that back to yourself, like is insane. Like, I'm not kidding. That's nuts. Like, why would anyone say that to themselves? But like, I did. I said that to myself. And someone was just like, oh my God, like, how can you say that? Like, you're fine just the way you are. And like, on a rational level, yes, that's true. But for me, like, I'm just so hard on myself that I couldn't even believe that I thought that about myself because that's so ridiculous. But that's just an example of some of the things that I struggle with. So I'm also going to say yes to my passions and say no to comparison, say yes to quiet time and no to sleeping in later. I have mentioned this before in my home management videos. I am the antichrist of the morning. Like, I am not a morning person at all, you guys. Like, I am probably like a terrible homemaker for some people because I hate mornings. Like, I get everything done, but I do not get it done at 5 o'clock in the morning. I've never been a morning person ever since I was a baby. I just do not function on that sleep rhythm. But I'm running out of hours in the day to get certain things done that I want to get done. So if I want quiet time, if I want more time with the Lord, it's going to have to come out of the morning because my 8 p.m. when my daughter's already in bed to 11:30, 11:45 p.m. is jam-packed. Like, I can't fit anything else in that schedule. So that's just has to get done. I'm saying I'm saying yes to fitness, no to laziness. I used to be one of those people who worked out 6 times a week. I could run 7 miles a day. Like, I did Zumba, Pilates, like all this stuff. And now, like, taking a walk around our yard has me winded. So I need to work on that for sure. I'm saying yes to content that I want to create and no to content that I think I should create. If you guys are on Instagram, I know a lot of you guys do like Instagram or YouTube as well. You know that the algorithms can be super punishing. Like, if you put out a lot of one type of video and then you put out another video that might interest you or maybe even interest some of your audience, it completely pushes it down because the majority of the people they're showing it to are used to one piece of content from you. And so then you just keep making the same stuff over and over again, and it can get really repetitive and boring. And that's how I felt before I left YouTube back in 2018, that I just was kind of like in a rut of doing the same thing over and over again. So I want to say yes to being present and no to living in the future, which is hard when you have a channel about organization and planning and whatnot. But I want to be more in the present. And yeah, so that's pretty much the gist of the yes, no sheets. All right. So like this video if you guys are still with me here, because like I know I'm kind of moving fast all over the place. This is not as structured as some of my other videos. Okay, so let's get into my actual goals. So it's not going to be a surprise after what I read out to you guys. But my number one goal, because I need more energy in my life, is losing the last 10 pounds of baby weight. I hate saying that out loud because it sounds so cliche. Like everyone's like, I want to lose 10 pounds. But again, as I mentioned earlier, it's literally, no pun intended, weighing on me. And I just need to, it's not that big of a deal. I just need to snap out of it. The second goal I have is to be more spiritually minded and centered. I want to spend at least 10 minutes in the Word every morning, just because as I explained, I just need to start my day better. Of the number 10,000, like I don't really care about vanity metrics that much. It's more just that I think it would be a big neon sign. Like it will reflect back to me that I am creating the content that is resonating with the people that I want to reach. Like I mentioned earlier, I want to help women be more empowered in taking back control of their home, organizations, getting more time for themselves, etc., etc. So that is the content that I really love to make. And those are the women that I really want to help. And I want to share what I know. I don't know everything, obviously, because, like, what do I know at 28? But I want to share what's worked for me and share what I can. And so having that number will just be a reflection back to me. Okay, like you are on the right path. Like you are walking in your purpose of like what you have come to do. So that would just be a very good sign to know that I'm doing the right thing here. So the fourth goal, which is my super embarrassing goal, you guys, I don't have a driver's license. Yep, I don't have one. I have never needed one, which is insanity to some people, but I was born and raised in Manhattan and I've never needed a driver's license, not ever. And so now that we've moved to the suburbs, I 100% need a driver's license. I have been taking some driving lessons, but everything has just been backed up because of COVID. So like my my learner's permit test or whatever is in January, and that was moved from October. So hopefully they don't shut everything down in the state so I can go and take it so I can get my license by the spring. But this isn't like a woo-woo goal. This is like if this doesn't happen, like we're going to be in like hot water. So this has got to happen, but I wrote it in here because I need to make time to do this on a monthly basis and just like get it together. Yes, I can't believe I don't have one. And if you have any tips for driving test, your learner's permit, what you wish you would have known before you're taking your driving test, please let me know in the comments because I could use all the advice I can get. Like my husband has like zero faith in me when it comes to driving. It's just like so sad. What else? My next goal is I want to cultivate more friendships and community. So I want to be more involved in our community. I already signed up for certain organizations and philanthropic MTVs and all that stuff. But I want to be more consistent with reaching out to friends as well. Because as I mentioned in how I was rating my life, I haven't seen my friends in a really long time. And so a lot of them also live abroad and can't leave the country, et cetera, et cetera. So I want to be able to reach out to people on a weekly basis, at least make more of an effort to call my friends who are abroad, not text messages and, sending each other memes, but really calling them on a weekly basis to check up on how they're doing. Hold on one second. Khalil Kala says, can you pay people on Goal Setter? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Khalil. But I will take questions very soon. So yeah, that is my goal. I wasn't even thinking that was going to be a goal for 2021, you guys. But so this is just how this process has worked for me. But I realized how much I really did need to make it a priority this year. And then my final goal is more date nights and more family fun. So as I mentioned earlier, I want to get better at having more fun at home, not feeling so tired at the end of the week. And my husband and I, we were really, 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 really consistent on weekly date nights for our entire relationship. We would spend the entire weekend together. Our daughter, we would spend, Friday nights out, and we would spend Saturday, doing family friendly stuff. And like, we would just have like a really good time. And so now that things are closing down again and it's just getting colder and there's less things to do, I do want to be more proactive about planning fun activities. So that takes me to this vision board. I don't know if you guys can see that, but some of you guys on my community tab have already seen this. I did this in 15 minutes during the lunch break that we had. So I just wanted to get it out of the way. I didn't want to leave it blank. Other people put photos and other stuff in here. I just put happy planner stickers that I wasn't using and just a pen. So this is just everything pretty much that I put on my goals. And then we get to the word of the year. So in my subpar lettering, I said my word was create, which makes sense because I want to create beautiful spaces and things around me. I will be putting up my homemaking goals. Yes, this week. Goals I have for homemaking, which didn't make it into this planner because it's kind of superfluous, but I will do an entire video on that. And one of my homemaking goals, spoiler alert, is finishing decorating out this entire house. So right now I'm sitting in one of the guest rooms, but I'm almost there on so many rooms, but I just want to finish certain, areas of the house that really just aren't there yet, especially once we get back to entertaining again and stuff like that. So I really think that that has to be a priority. I've already kicked that into high gear because of the holidays, but I just want to keep going with that. I just want to keep creating new relationships, creating content that I enjoy, creating memories. So create was my word of the year. So you can let me know what your word of the year was in the comments. So here is where we get to the action plan. So this is pages 32 through 50. This is what we did not go over in Cultivate Your Year live. So again, I did do this all in one day because I already had like my pens, my stickers, like I was already in the headspace. I just got it done. But just to give you guys some examples, if you're stuck here, of what this means. So when I came into this process, I thought that my number one goal was going to be to get a better morning routine. I really, really, really did. And I realized that that wasn't going to be the best goal for me because A, I already said I hate mornings, and B, it wasn't going to be motivational. So it was going to be a lot easier to say, I want more time spiritually. I want more time to be centered in the morning. I need quiet time to myself. I need to work out in the morning. Well, in order for me to do that, I need to really step up my morning routine from like the bare minimum that it has been. So that is an action within a bigger goal. As opposed to making the morning routine the goal, I made the things I want to do in my morning routine the goal, if that makes sense. Hope says intentional is my word of the year. That's really good. That's a really good word. And I think a lot of us feel that way too, being more intentional with our time. So yeah, that's just an example of how I kind of redid in my head how I thought of my goal. So my cliche goal of losing the last 10 pounds of baby weight is working out 4 times a week. So that's one mini goal. Tracking what I eat for 2 weeks to reorient myself. So I have always had a very healthy relationship with food. I've never had food issues. I've been very fortunate. But one thing I don't like to do, I don't like to track my food. I've always been like an intuitive eater, but that's probably why I have not been able to lose like the last 6 pounds. So I'm just going to track what I eat for 2 weeks to exactly pinpoint where I'm going wrong. Let's be honest, I know where I'm going wrong, but just so I can see it on paper. I want to get outside every day. Again, like I said, I hate winter. I know this is going to be awful to get me outside of the house with nowhere to go this year. And I guess the mini goal is losing the first 5 pounds of those 10 pounds. So those are my mini goals from January through March. So the action steps are wake up early to fit in the workout, write it in my planner, and sign up for a fitness challenge. So that's just one way to break it down. So then my second goal, spending at least 10 minutes in the Word each day. Sign up for a Bible study that I enjoy, do a 2-week study from Horatio Printing. I have a whole review on the soap book on my channel. And so for my action steps from January through March, I'm going to do those 3 things and wake up early in order to get those things done. So my third goal of hitting 10,000 subscribers here on YouTube is obviously a milestone of hitting 6,000, then 8,000, and then how I'm going to get there is maybe creating more content. I think I might up my content to 3 times a week. I might have some more time to do that. Getting more creative in my content, doing more content that, again, that I feel more called to do. And that I think is really going to be better for me, be better for you guys. And I think that that's going to be something to look forward to. What else? Then obviously getting my driver's license. I already signed up for my learner's permit test months ago. We're just behind, as I mentioned, and just passing my learner's permit test and taking my driving lessons. Those are my action steps for January through March. So for cultivating more friendships and cultivating the friendships I already have and being in community, my action goals are check in on friends, schedule times to catch up. So schedule times to call my friends. Again, like I mentioned earlier, some of them are abroad, so we have to schedule out in advance because of the time difference. One goal of mine is to send out birthday cards for everyone. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to batch write them at the beginning of the month. So I love stationery. Not everybody does, but I did want to do that moving forward, make that a tradition that everybody gets birthday cards. And especially in a year where we're not seeing each other, I thought that would be nice. And then for more date nights and family fun, sounds ridiculous, but research more fun date nights at home, plan activities for family in advance, and be organized and ready to go first thing after breakfast on the weekend. So one thing is that my toddler, her nap schedule now that she's getting older is like 12:30 or 1, more like 1 to 3:30 or 4, like depending on the day. So when we wake up in the morning, if we are not out the door after breakfast, now with everything getting dark here at 4:30 on the dot, she has a mini like half lunch when she wakes up at like 3:34. So it's just like too late to get anything done. So if I want to get in those family activities, it has to be in the morning. So we were on like a very good schedule for a long time on Saturdays in the summer doing this. But now, as I mentioned, with the winter, I have to be a little bit more creative with what we're going to do on the weekends. Hope says, that's one of my goals, is to send families and friends birthday cards. Hope maybe we can keep each other accountable and make sure that we're sending them to our friends and family. Because like now that I've said that, my friends and family are going to be like, you made a video that you were going to send me a card and like you didn't. So I think maybe keeping the birthday cards in this planner actually might be the way that I get that done. So my action steps for these mini goals is research those ideas, order anything that needs to be ordered. So if I want to do more game nights, maybe order more board games, card games, just to change it up from Netflix all the time, more activities that I can order and do with Romy at home, all that stuff. And then also ask my husband for ideas. Ask John what he wants to do on the weekends too, because I'm all up for planning stuff. Like that is my wheelhouse, but you know, he has some good ideas as well. So asking him to chip in on what we want to do. So that's how I broke down the action steps for my goals. So I hope that this is making more sense for those of you who weren't exactly sure on how to break all of that down. And then we're going to get to the tending list. So I already also did this, which I'm very proud of. So this is what it looks like here. Again, I have a whole review on this planner, page by page, for those of you who are just joining right now. So that is in the description box. So it's broken into monthly actions, to-dos, weekly actions, and your daily action habits. And if you can see that, these are little habit trackers for day to day. So my monthly action items are completing either the monthly Bible studies, writing the birthday cards at the beginning of the month, planning family fun activities. So in order for this to happen every Saturday or Sunday, I'm going to have to plan like 4 to 6 activities at the beginning of the month. I know now with everything going on, we're kind of taking it like by a week basis. But in terms of a mental energy standpoint, it's much easier for me to just when I'm doing my monthly planning to also be like, oh, like what's going around in our area or in our county this year? I mean, this month, like what can we sign up for? Do we need to buy a ticket for anything? So just doing that in advance and telling my husband in advance that that's what we're doing, because sometimes he does like to do work on the weekends, especially with like nothing going on. So kind of a workaholic. So, all right. And also compile ideas for toddler activities. So